This harrowing footage shows the shocking moment when two huge sharks try to capsize a boat full of people. The terrifying ordeal was captured by one of the passengers who had chartered the yacht with 35 other people off the coast of Oahu in Hawaii. But their leisurely cruise soon turned into a nightmare when the enormous sharks began circling the vessel. In this gripping video, we can see the water churning ominously as the predator draws closer to the boat. Some people on board try to fend off the shark with oars, while others scream in terror as they realize the danger they are in. And just as it seems like the worst has happened, another massive shark appears out of nowhere to join the first one. As the two sharks begin their relentless assault on the boat, 3 people fall overboard. Thankfully, the Coast Guard arrives just in time to save those who fell into the water before the approaching storm gets any worse. But how did these sharks react to the human intrusion in their territory? What caused them to attack the boat in the first place? And what do experts have to say about the likelihood of such attacks occurring? Let's dive deeper into the details of this incident to find out. On that fateful day, a group of 36 people had chartered a luxury yacht for a day trip around the waters off the coast of Oahu in Hawaii. Among them were 26 tourists from a cruise ship and 10 crew members who had accompanied them on the excursion. As the group set sail, the weather was calm and the conditions were perfect for a leisurely cruise. The passengers enjoyed the scenic beauty of the surrounding waters, the gentle rocking of the boat, and the thrill of being on the open sea. However, little did they know that their peaceful journey was about to be shattered by a terrifying encounter with some of the ocean's most feared inhabitants. As the yacht was about 10 miles off the coast, the passengers began to notice some ominous signs of trouble. The water, which had been calm and inviting just moments before, suddenly started to churn and roil. The sky, which had been clear and cloudless, darkened ominously, suggesting an approaching storm. The wind, which had been gentle and welcoming, picked up speed and began to whip across the deck, sending shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned sailors. But the passengers tried to brush aside their fears and convince themselves that everything was going to be all right. After all, they were on a luxury yacht with a crew of experienced sailors who knew these waters like the back of their hands. They had chartered the best boat available and had taken every precaution to ensure their safety and well-being. So why should they be worried? But as the minutes ticked by, the ominous signs of trouble only intensified, and the passengers could no longer ignore the growing sense of dread that was settling over them like a shroud. The water continued to churn and roil. The sky continued to darken, and the wind continued to whip across the deck, and the passengers could no longer shake off the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Just then, their worst fears were confirmed. Out of the corner of his eye, someone on board spotted a fin cutting through the waves towards them. It was a shark, and it was heading straight for the boat. The passengers watched in horror as the shark drew closer and closer, its razor-sharp teeth glinting in the sunlight, its cold, dead eyes staring straight at them. The shark was enormous, longer than the boat itself, and it seemed to be circling the vessel with a predatory grace that was both mesmerizing and terrifying. But before anyone could react, the shark lunged. It hit the side of the boat with its massive body, causing it to tilt dangerously to one side. The passengers screamed in terror as they braced for impact. They had never seen anything like this before, and they didn't know what to do. Thankfully, the captain was prepared for such an emergency. He had seen sharks before, and he knew how to handle them. He immediately ordered everyone to stay inside the cabin and away from the windows. Then he grabbed a harpoon gun and raced to the top of the boat. The fight was on. The captain fired the harpoon at the shark, but it missed. The shark was too quick, too agile. It dodged the harpoon and lunged again, this time hitting the boat even harder than before. The boat was in danger of capsizing, and the passengers could feel the icy grip of fear tightening around their hearts. They were trapped on a sinking ship in the middle of the ocean with a hungry shark circling them like a hungry predator. Their survival was in the balance, and they could only hope for a miracle. As if the first shark wasn't enough, a second one appeared out of nowhere. The passengers were horrified. They had never seen so many sharks in one place before, and they didn't know what to do. The second shark was even bigger than the first one, and it joined the fray with a viciousness that was truly terrifying. The two sharks attacked the boat from different angles, biting and thrashing until the hull was badly damaged. The passengers could hear the sound of their own screams echoing inside the cabin as they huddled together in terror. The boat was taking on water fast, and the captain knew that they wouldn't be able to stay afloat much longer. He had to get the passengers off the boat and into the life rafts. With the help of the crew, the captain managed to get 3 life rafts into the water and help the passengers get on board. They were exhausted, scared, and injured, but they were alive. The sharks had not been able to get to them. As the life rafts were being lowered into the water, the captain made a mayday call to the Coast Guard. He told them about the shark attack and the fact that several people were missing. The Coast Guard responded quickly, and within minutes, they had arrived at the scene. They helped the remaining passengers off the boat and into the helicopters. The boat was then towed back to shore, where it was met by a team of paramedics and police officers. Of the 36 people who had been on board the yacht, 3 were confirmed dead, 15 were missing, and 18 had survived. The dead included 2 men and 1 woman. The missing were believed to have been taken by the sharks. The survivors suffered from cuts, bruises, and other minor injuries. No one else was hurt. When asked about the incident, one of the survivors said, "I've never been so scared in my life. I thought we were going to die. The sharks were everywhere. There was blood in the water and people were screaming. It was a nightmare." Another survivor added, "We were just on a nice little boat ride when all of a sudden these sharks show up. It was crazy. I'm just thankful to be alive." Experts say that shark attacks are rare, but they do happen. When they do occur, it's usually because the shark feels threatened or is protecting its territory. In this case, the sharks were likely attracted to the blood from the injuries of the passengers who had fallen overboard. This is known as a scent trail, and it can be very alluring to sharks. Experts also say that people should never swim or boat in open water without taking precautions. Sharks are everywhere in the ocean, and they can attack without warning. If you do see a shark, you should try to remain calm and exit the water slowly. Don't make any sudden movements and don't splash or scream. If a shark does attack you, you should try to fight back. Sharks are not invincible, and they can be scared off if you make enough noise and commotion. You should also try to target the shark's most vulnerable areas, such as its gills or eyes. These are the areas that are most likely to make the shark retreat. In conclusion, the shark attack was a terrifying ordeal for everyone involved. It was a reminder of the power and unpredictability of nature and the importance of being prepared when in the great outdoors. The survivors will no doubt carry the scars of this event for the rest of their lives, but they can also take comfort in knowing that they survived against all odds. We can learn from this tragedy and take steps to ensure that similar incidents are prevented in the future. By understanding the behavior of sharks and taking the necessary precautions, we can all enjoy the beauty of the ocean while staying safe. What are your thoughts on this terrifying incident? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more such thrilling videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.